Hi everyone, how are you doing today? I'm Ninja Whale. Bear with me as I try out yet another video format. This time it's more of a live stream where we try to start looking for an answer together. The topic that I want to talk about today is the Old Summer Palace in Beijing, so Yuanmingyuan. This topic was inspired by some awesome comments on the first video I made on the Golden Chalice of Stability, 2 copies of which were looted from Yuanmingyuan when it was burned down in 1860. So some questions that came up were along the lines of, what was Yuanmingyuan? Who built it? When was it built? What did it look like? Who burned it? Why did they burn it? What does it look like now? And what kind of things were looted from it? Those were questions that I myself am also very not familiar with. So I decided to try out this video format where we find out together. I start off with 3 search engines: Google, Baidu, which is Chinese Google, and a library catalog. So first, let's start with just asking Google about Yuanmingyuan. So I'm using pinyin input, where I just input the pronunciation and then pick the characters. All right, let's see. The first result is probably Wikipedia, and it's probably going to tell us about the how it was destroyed part. Ooh, nice. So here we see some photos of the remnants of the summer palace, the old summer palace, Yuanmingyuan. So yeah, so stone pillars, more stone because those are not burnable. I think we can extrapolate from just how intricate these remaining pillars are that it used to be a really beautiful place. Willows in the winter. Changchun garden. So Changchun translates to everlasting spring. More remains. All right, so the caption there says this is the only remaining stone arch bridge. All right, now let's switch to the English so that I can read some parts of it. Again, so I'm not going to comment on how accurate or inaccurate Wikipedia is. This is just like a first start. All right. So I think that the questions of when it was built, who built it, those questions will be better answered by Chinese Google. Let's start here then. Yeah, so let's start with the questions of who destroyed it and when. Right, so right here, in 1860, during the Second Opium War, as the Anglo-French expedition force relentlessly approached Beijing, a negotiation delegation was sent by the French and English, but were imprisoned and tortured by the Chinese, resulting in 20 deaths. The British High Commissioner to China, Lord Elgin, retaliated by ordering the complete destruction of the palace, which was then carried out by British troops. The palace was so large, covering more than 800 acres, that it took 4,000 men 3 days of burning to destroy it. So I remember visiting this place when I was a kid, and all I remembered from it was this, like a bunch of stone, and it really didn't, like, it seemed impressive, but not that beautiful, not that memorable to me. So this is also the first time that I'm reading this, and it just breaks my heart what it presumably used to be. All right, let's read on. Many exquisite artworks, sculptures, porcelain, jade, silk robes, elaborate textiles, gold objects, and more were stolen and are now found in 47 museums around the world, according to UNESCO. So presumably this doesn't include anything that we've lost track of. It doesn't include a lot of things that are currently sitting in personal collections all over the world. And to be fair, I have heard that it wasn't only the foreigners that did the looting. Some Chinese people looted too. Yeah, so what we can gather from this is that many artifacts were looted. And we can gather that it used to be a very, very, very large, beautifully constructed palace. All right, now let's head over to Baidu to get a picture of what it used to be. and the early histories of the place. I am assuming that if I Google it on Baidu, I will find a better account of the early history of the place. For example, when it was built. And indeed, okay, so this is a little bit stressful. I have to kind of real-time translate. So the building of it started in year 1707 during Kangxi's reign. This garden was at first built by Kangxi as a gift for his fourth son, who ended up being the Yongzheng emperor, by the way. He named it Yuanmingyuan, Yuanming being Yongzheng's Fa Hao. Okay, so I don't know what Fa Hao is. Let's Google that. Okay, Dharma name. So associated with Buddhism. So I still don't know what that is, but okay, so perhaps let's just say that it's like another name for Yongzheng. And that's how it was named. In 1722, after Yongzheng became emperor, sorry, also excuse my neighbors, they're really loud. So in 1722, after Yongzheng became emperor, he extended this garden, and to the south of it built all these new buildings. That's a lot of buildings. And he intended to use it in the summer for 闭宣听政. So that means literally escape, noise, listen, politics. So I presume it's kind of like us unplugging in the summer and going to a cottage. He wants to kind of like unplug from the noise and focus on politics during the summer in this palace. So after him, the next emperor was Qianlong. He also, so he added new buildings, did renovations, and built Changchunyuan into the east. I remember the word Changchunyuan. I saw it back in Wikipedia. Right. So this, oh no, that's willows in the winter. This is what remains of Changchun Garden that Qianlong built. So I'm guessing all of it was burned down. Qianlong's son kept on building it. Yeah, so this garden was very important to Qing emperors. Every single one of them, did their renovations, built new buildings. It really was passed down. Okay, so now we kind of have an answer about what it looks like today, how it was destroyed, who built it. One question that's really of interest to me is, what did this place used to look like? And to get at that, so you see how like in Wikipedia, even if we just stay in Wikipedia and we keep scrolling, they have like, right, so here they have, oh, I think so this is probably legit because this looks like it's displayed in Yuanmingyuan. So this is a sketch of like at its peak what Yuanmingyuan would have looked like. So we can see like a lot of bodies of water. Seems like a really great place for relaxing. Here is a painting of from which we can kind of see what it looked like. Again, so here is a painting and more. Like, look at how beautiful that was. Like, it wasn't just about the buildings, it was about how the buildings blended in with the hills, with the landscape, with the water. So this seemed like it was truly a work of art. Yeah, so one of the difficulties I ran into in terms of like Googling what Yuanmingyuan might have looked like on Google is you never know, like I never know which images to trust. So like if I go to images, like some of these reconstructions, I don't know who made them. I don't know how accurate they are. Like it's, so I decided that, okay, what if I search on a library catalog? Maybe I will have better idea. And regarding what to search, I heard from a friend that there's a very famous architectural family in the Qing dynasty with the surname Lei, L-E-I. And that they were responsible for designing many famous architectures in that dynasty. And so this like family of architects, the Lei family architects, together they were called Yang Shi Lei. And so my friend recommended that I started searching there. So I have actually searched here, Yang Shi Lei. Actually, I will search it again. Right. And let's scroll after we get the results to find like results that look promising in terms of giving us some images. Search part of this. Okay, okay. My heart is beating again. Wow, okay, that's pretty. This is very promising. 20,000, so they left behind 20,000 sketches. Wow. So out of those 20,000 sketches that this family left behind, 2,000, more than 2,000 were about Yuanmingyuan. Wow, wow, wow. So here we see, zoom in a little bit. So here we see those photos that kind of look like the ones we saw in Wikipedia. So at least that's good, corroborates Wikipedia. Oh, that's it? Okay. Actually, I found this article from before that I saved. I could refine it again, but maybe just trust me that it was from this library catalog. So here, I wanted to show this because it has like some English captions that'll help you guys with understanding what these are about. So this painting shows the birthday celebrations in honor of Emperor Kangxi of the Qing dynasty. The venue was designed by the architects of the Lei family. So this kind of shows you how like significant the Lei family was in the Qing dynasty. On a side note, I wish that for my birthday celebration, somebody can design a venue, but wow, that's pretty elaborate. That's amazing. Yeah, so oh wow, okay. So yeah, as you can see, I also just didn't read this article carefully before myself. So my friend had told me that this Lei family was an important architectural family in Qing dynasty, but actually their fame started before Qing dynasty. So here it says that even in early Ming dynasty, the Lei family have been in the woodwork arts. 8 generations of architectural talent. Amazing, amazing. Amazing. Portrait of Lei Jingxiu, the 50, the 50 generation head. Okay, so the Chinese says 第五代传人. I think this is the 5th. 50 just doesn't make much sense, right? So I think this is the 5th generation head of the Yang Shilei. On the left is the, yeah. So I think this is the 5th. So here's the guy. This is their ancestral cemetery in need of urgent protection. Right, so this article says that even in 1914, this guy in the government, Zhu Qiqian, I think that's how you pronounce this character, Zhu Qiqian, was interested in collecting and preserving the sketches and models made by Yang Shilei. And he went around to the descendants of the Lei family, trying to get them to sell these documents because, so here it says, because Zhu Qiqian was afraid that these documents, if the government didn't buy it, these documents would eventually just, scatter overseas. And he persuaded the Lei family to sell all of it, do not keep any. But I think the Lei family still kept some, because it says at the end, Lei family's descendants sold most of the documents for 4,500 like silver currencies. Yep. And then fast forward to 1964, two descendants of the Lei family appeared in Beijing at the Office of Artifacts. They carried a giant cart worth, a giant cart worth of Yangshi Lei 图样, so Lei family model, like the models. The person in charge treated them to some food, gave them a receipt, sent them a certificate. After the Cultural Revolution started, the rest of the sketches and models were all burned. Right, so from this, it sounds like the British and French burned the real Summer Palace, and during the Cultural Revolution, much of our hopes of trying to see what this amazing place had looked like before it was burned down, i.e. these models, were also burned. So I guess, yeah, part of the answer is we'll never know. This is just very sad. Oh, I have read about this. Called this. It was published by National Beiping Library about Yuanmingyuan. And it contains pictures of and discussions of the architectural models of Yuanmingyuan. So here we can see one such model. Okay, I'm going to try, so Tangyang is the model, yeah. So I'm going to try one more Google result of Yuanmingyuan Tangyang, and just keep in mind that I don't know whether these were the real deal, or whether any of these are the real deal, or some fakes, Yeah, so these look very pretty. This looks like it was taken in a museum, so I assume that. Yeah, so if you're curious about what this place might have looked like before it was burned down, I feel like Googling for Yuanmingyuan Tangyang or Yangshi Lei Tangyang. Might be a good start. Oh, whoops, see, so I wrote that wrong. I wrote soup instead of what it should be. Right, so Yangshi Lei Tangyang. And then if you want to see what Yuanmingyuan looked like in particular, you can add Yuanmingyuan. I guess being able to read Chinese will get you really far in a really short time. If you don't know how to read Chinese and you just search for Yuanmingyuan, you can probably get some of the same results. I'm curious what these images are. So now the sketches are interesting. I don't know who sketched these things. Interesting. Yeah, let's see if we can Google for Yangshi Lei just in English. Oh, yeah, we can find that too. Yangshi Lei archives. This looks like a good place to start. Oh, I didn't actually get to what was looted. Yeah, so So this is a spreadsheet that I found by following the paper trails starting from this paper here. And so this paper said something about like there's already a lot of some literature out there about the artifacts that ended up in Britain. And they cited some books that I wasn't able to find the PDFs of. So I did order a copy, but those will take some time to come in. And if they say something interesting, I will make a video to share the results. But this paper also pointed to this spreadsheet, which only includes like artifacts that they thought were looted from Yuanmingyuan in a French auction, I think 1 or 2 French auctions. And man, like there are no pictures, unfortunately, but let me just show you how long scrolling down this list takes. My blood boiled as I was doing this exercise. It's not ending. Let's keep scrolling. If I stop at a random thing, right, it says 3 pieces of silver something. So this is jewelry. Oh, let me also just make it smaller so that I can show you how much these were sold for. So these, I guess these hammer prices were in francs at the time. And I think this was in the 1860s. You know, as I scroll these, I thought about how many artifacts are floating around out there. I also thought about how many people got rich off of these artifacts. It's just, this isn't even all of them. This is just some auction in France. $2,224. Right, so actually, I think it is important to find out exactly what these were, because it seemed from that spreadsheet that some of the origins were Europe or Japan. So I want to make sure that these were from. I clearly remember them saying that there was a spreadsheet, and so I think it's this one. Right here. Yeah. So right. So I guess from the wording of this, not all of it was from Yuanmingyuan. That's good. I mean, if all 2,000 of those were from Yuanmingyuan, that would have been right. So now with that in mind, let's see how much has Chine in it. Let's do a sort, yeah? If you see Chine, these non précisés are also, yeah, we don't know, right? So these are all Chine. It's a lot of Chine. Non précisé means they don't know where it came from. Chine. Yeah, I mean, I encourage you download this Excel sheet and take a look. I might actually try to play with this data a little bit. So if anybody's interested to play with me. Yeah, I think I will end it there. See you next time, I guess. That was really depressing for me, you know, finding out how impressive this place. You know, I always thought that, you know, Chinese architecture, especially in recent times, aren't as impressive as European architecture, but I guess it never occurred to me that. But it just, I mean, what is it? Took 4,000 men 3 days to burn down. It must have been something really amazing, something to be proud of. Anyway, see you next time, I guess. If there's any topic that you want to have done, any feedback on this format, I actually think this is probably the last time I'll do this format unless people really like it, because it's really stressful to read something for the first time and have to translate from Chinese to English in real time. Yeah, see you next time, friends. Oh yeah, as always, if you like my videos, please hit subscribe. Feel free to check out some of my other videos. For example, the one on the golden chalice of stability. See you next time.